welcome back to day 72 in the Light the World Build the Kingdom Challenge. Are you like me? Are you somebody who really likes to have control over her world? Maybe a go-getter, you want to make things happen, you want to get things done, you decide what you want, you go for it. And if you're one of those types of people, you may realize in life over time, things will happen to you where you don't have control. Maybe a health challenge will hit you and you just simply cannot do what you used to do. Or maybe you suffer with depression, something will happen and you really can't control that you're depressed. You can't make yourself think right. Or, a physical ailment of some kind. Anything like that could happen to make you incapable of being in control like you used to be. I know I've had this happen in my life where I had the Midas touch for a lot of years, and anything I touched just worked, and I thought, yeah, I got this under control, and then everything fell out, and the bottom fell out of my world, and nothing I did seemed to work anymore. It just did not work. And there was something very important I learned at the bottom of this barrel of where I just had to give it all to God and just had to let it be. Just let it be, like the Beatles song. And I learned what the verse that Jesus talks about where he said, you don't put new wine into old bottles. And when I was a kid, I'd study that verse, and I'm like, I don't understand what he's talking about. He'd say, if you put the new wine in the old bottles, they're going to bust and they're going to break. Well, it's not that there's something wrong with the wine. There's not something wrong with what you're putting into it. But if you let's say you're the bottle, and your thinking is rigid, or it's you think everything has to be done a certain way and your way, and you have a set structure of maybe the standard of the way it's always been done, and you go and you try to put new ideas and new ways of doing things into that rigid thinking, it just makes a mess. But if you wipe it out, if you get rid of those bottles completely, toss out those old bottles and get something new, a new way of thinking, a new container to put whatever idea, philosophy, belief system, new way of thinking into a new bottle, then it has a chance. And so sometimes your life is flattened and you lose everything, not because the things that you had were bad, or they're not what you're supposed to have in your life, or they're not what you're supposed to believe, or they're not the way you're supposed to think, but the container you were trying to put them in was not appropriate for it. And like for one thing, the house that I'm standing in right now, this house left my life for 2 years. I didn't have it. I lost it, and I thought I would never get it back. Well, it wasn't that I wasn't supposed to be in this house, or I wasn't supposed to fulfill the dream that I had for the property that I live on. It was that there were so many other things in my life, these old bottles that I was trying to put my dream into that just weren't going to work. And all of that had to be moved out. Just almost everything had to be wiped out of my life. And then God began putting the things that belonged to me and the things that I needed to have in my life back in. Some things were back in from old things put back in, but then there were also some new things and new people and new ideas and new circumstances. So if you see that your life is being flattened, if you see that you're wanting to toss out time-tested values that you used to believe, or old things that you used to think, and you're wanting to just throw those things out, and it may look radical, or they may be taken out of your life, don't worry, because God's cleaning it out. He's creating a new vessel, and then he's going to come and show you, okay, what belongs here? What truths belong here? What people belong here? What things belong here? So that you can have a higher level of order in your life. And also, it's sort of like a pendulum swinging, when you get too much where you think you have to control your life too much, and you think it's all about you and you figuring it out, something's going to happen where that pendulum's got to swing the other way. If your thinking becomes too rigid or too extreme, sometimes that pendulum will swing back almost to the opposite extreme. I've seen this happen with people I know where they were very tightly religious, and then they go swing all the way to there is no God, and then it'll swing back till they find some happy balanced medium of a belief system that is healthy, that is not fanatical one way or the other, but that pendulum will have to swing in life. And sometimes we see that happen in our own lives or the lives of people we love. And we don't need to get upset about that, because that's part of life. It's going to balance out and find the sweet spot eventually. Just trust the process. Trust the process, because God is at the helm and He knows what He's doing. Y'all take care. God bless. Have a wonderful evening.